Well, it's the weekend again, DIY time. So, tricked out with a new media card because the other two that I had, they were obviously not working, even though they were advertised as camera friendly ones, but they weren't. But hey ho, you live and learn. So, all set up. Some cakes today, something to drink, something to nibble on, all set up in the box. Safe glasses are on, that's why we have the glasses are inside there. Like DJI says, why don't you get a memory card? So I finally got one. I got this Linux one, professional, and it says that that is the right one. So I put it into my camera, not tried it yet, but I'm going to give it a whirl after, because I cleaned up some storage on the camera, so the internal storage has got freedom on there. Because after doing all these filmings for these lovely floors and everything like that, that took up quite a bit. So what I'm doing today is getting that little piece down there that you can see put into it. That's the little trim that sits underneath the fireplace. They actually is like a little tiny mock-up of what it's going to look like. I'm going to start getting skirting boards on it because I've got a couple primed ones here. This one's going on. The mitre is going to be so that the mitre goes this way. So when you look along, you just see a continuous floor. And don't look at the mitre line, but I explain all that as I go along, how mitres are done. I'm going to show you how I fill in around areas like that, cut parts in like this. So hopefully this is going to be an informal one, or no, not sorry, informal, a formal one on how to do skirting boards. I don't have the footage anymore, I think, but on one of my older videos you can see we machined these ourselves. So these are on a router table machined MDF skirting boards. So we made them nice and tall because I think it's just a bit more in keeping when you look picture rail, and that looks better than like a little tiny skirting board. So what I'm going to do, go finish my brew off, get myself set up, and have you along today. Here we go, first skirting board. Rough cut to length, brew, tape, pencil, kneading mat, and a scrap piece of MDF. So you can see here there's a gap. That is because the way the skirting board runs there. So what I'm going to do is on that back edge there, I'm going to run not from the top but from the bottom a little bit of like a back cut, so it slides in so that this here slides beyond that. And then at that end, after doing that, I will then, I'll see how much I need to take off there and put my little angle on there. I've set myself up outside with some sawhorses to cut outside because it's a lovely day today, so I might not be able to film outside doing that, but I show you what I'm going to do here now. So on this edge here, on that, so what I'm going to do is bring it forward. You can see here when it comes into it, so it comes up to there. So what I'm going to do is this back edge here, that, and a little bit from this edge here, I'm going to take that out to make that slide further into it to give that a nicer edge to it. I could just mastic that, but I'm going to do that first and then I'll mastic it. That's what I'm doing. So just give that a pause. So, God, didn't film it because it was too noisy. So there we go, that's in. Because you can tell by the brew, it's still there, still warm. Rub that top edge down outside with that 120. I'll show you my little setup out here. So jigsaw, lecky plane, handsaw. We'll have later on the festool out there for cutting the mitres, but gonna start setting the gun up for getting it on. I'm going to leave a small little gap underneath. I'll show you that in a second, how I do that little gap. Here we go. I've got grab adhesive, old cards, leave a nice little gap underneath it. That way you can slide something underneath and paint, and it gives a bit of an expansion as well. So we're going to put some goulash onto the wall, and that is quite a solid wall. That's plasterboard that and dabbed, but I'm going to fix into that there with the nail gun. That's what I have to switch it off in a minute. And I'm going to do this side, so I'm going to switch it off to charge the nail gun up now, because it's a pneumatic nail gun. But you can see here, that is the gap which slides together. That's quite nicely. See, it leaves a little tiny gap underneath it. So what you do is, so I probably move that one along because it's actually not a high spot there. So I look for, yeah, there's a spot. Set it there, so it gives like an even gap underneath it. And have a look. Here somewhere to put it. Probably put it at the far end there like that. And that gives a nice even gap underneath my floor. Okay, back on. Compressor just finished. So, gonna do is, this is because I've got this dry stuff in it. Probably just make the nozzle a bit bigger and then it will come out. Oh. I've set myself up with like a little bucket for rubbish, you know, because there'll be all sorts of kind of little bits coming off. I don't want nothing on these new floors. So nothing sticks down anywhere, nothing sits down anywhere. I just have something to wipe my hands on as well. So I'm going to put some there. Some at the far end. In between, so it sits onto the wall. Something to sit onto. A back edge to go into, and over here, a back edge to go into. And that is plenty on there. Might as well just use up what's in the tube now. No, it's too much to use up what's in the tube. So, pick it up. One side first. Push it right in. Then what we're going to do is get the nail gun. Do 1, 2 nails to hold it in. There's 2 nails to get in like that. And then what I do is, this is going to take a little bit of pushing and shoving. Going to then push that edge in by pulling the middle out a little bit, so it's got a little bit of spring. Yeah, that back there's staying in. There you go, so it's sprung in. Best kind of hammer is the foot. Now I go and get my new acquaintance now. This is really good for this. That's why the scrap piece is there for. This is my new acquaintance. I need to lift that up slightly for that card. So we've got that gap sitting underneath. This is my new acquaintance. This is my bought little bargain. This is a £2 hammer. So I'll bring that in nicely. Middle part as well. That part. That part. Skirting board. Just sitting by itself. Nice and tight. So I've got my gap still underneath it. Got my gap underneath there. And see, that's how you glue skirting board on. Won't need any fixings because that's by itself is going to hold that MDF onto there. That will be rock solid against that wall. And I'll do later on, run 1 bead of mastic down the top, and that's sorted then. Then the wall gets repainted, skirting board gets painted. So finish with the first one using the brad nailer, which is really good. I really like that. Prefer that, or well, I would prefer a battery one, but I'm not paying the prices for a battery one. So next one, go along this side here. to cut underneath the skirt and going underneath the radiator pipes. Do little cutouts, mark everything up. Just measure if that's a full one, or am I going to have a little joint on there? That's going to be the question. But I think that's going to be a small joint into it. So if I measure across from here, so I'm right up against the wall there. To the front, I've got 2775. That's more than a thing. So what I'm going to try and do is put my joint of my skirting board underneath the radiator, because that's going to be the least seen part. And the joint will sit that the mitre sits this way. The mitre sits this way into it. So when you come into the room, you won't see it, because this way you're not going to see it. You only see it when you approach from the roadside. That's where you're probably going to see the most for that appearance sitting on there. So that's what we're going to set up for that. So mitre, like I said, in from this side, so the joint is underneath there, and that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so here we go. That's been painted prior, and what I'll do is get a bit of this. If I take it right to the edge of the sawhorse, then you get your hand all the way through in one go, and you just work along anywhere the MDF is lifted itself. There's a lot by touching, by feeling, by hand to do this, to feel where that is. And with it being this matty stuff, it actually works itself into the groove. So I can run my finger along that machined groove that I have on there. You can see why I'm doing this outside, how much this creates in dust. So what I'll do then is I'll turn it over, break the top edge. That will be a sharp edge on there. So this is one that it's got a nice heavy coat of primer onto it. The heavier the primer coat is on it, the better. Because it gives you something to sand back rather than sanding MDF back when people say that. So using acrylic primer is the best thing to use, the acrylic primer, because you can get a nice heavy coat onto that. So, sand across that. So, that's the first piece ready. Now what we're going to have to do is, in this corner, I can't have, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it this way and run it in that way. So when you're looking down, you come into the room, you don't see it because you're not going to see past the radiator going up there, that way where it sits in. So this will be piece 45 and back, but that piece is going to get scribed into this one. So I'm going to measure a piece from here to approximately halfway underneath, or see where it falls. Sometimes what I do is I tend to set it up below the pipe, but I'm going to work around with that now and try and work out where I'm best doing that. And there for my section, because that's not a 4800 coming down here. I could look and see what I've got for an offcut and just go with that. So terrible for filming today, sorry. So here, that's the hallway on. That's what it looks like around the pipework, around there. And down here by the stairs. So I'll just show you what I'm doing in the living room. I have to have, oh God. So I've put a lot of relief cuts in the back of this one. Put a screw right into the corner. So that's going to go on here like that. So what I'm going to do is, the idea is, so I've got grip fill, so I'm going to add a couple of beads of grip fill in here so they go off. Sporadically put my grip fill on here so it glues against the wall. I will do some on the far end as well. That's what's going to get pushed on. I pick this piece up here. I'll place it into the corner. I grab hold of my screw, don't know where I put it now. So I get my...
What will happen after the skirting boards?
I'm filming.
Huh?
What happens after the skirting boards? We're going to do the rest of the house.
What will we do with us?
Well, we need carpets upstairs, don't we?
Yeah.
Paint doors. The back room. So I put the screw into this corner.
Yes, I remember when the skirting boards go down. Not yet. It'll cover that
That's
screw.
gonna hold it, and I can bring that slowly around. I know I'm gonna get some relief stress marks in the MDF. I know I'm gonna get that, but there we go. That's one curved skirting board that gets filled into the top there. These stress reliefs, I can't help them being in there. That's just the way the MDF is, sort of thing like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to squirt loads of glue into that, let it run into it, and that will get that. Okay, so I need to get fixing over on this side here.
Wait, are you finishing this?
Okay. So this is my little infill piece I'm going to do, like that. So that's going to hold into there as such, and then I come around and I do a return miter going back there into the corner. So that's what I mark out next now. So if I hold that there, up, got my mini cameraman again now. Just put your hand on top of here, hold that. Thank you. Then I grab a piece from back here. That piece is going to sit on top of here like that. So that's going to be our inside edge. That one there. Okay, so there's our inside edge. Take that, push that together.
Is screw fix its own brand alright?
Yeah, yeah.
Or do you need like the Walt ones or anything?
Hold on. Filming. You have a look in the box there. Top one.
So I know what brand you trust.
We're running it out of the 18 gauge brats.
Yeah, I've got them all up here. Which box? This black one underneath.
Yeah, but we need
Your thing, isn't it? That's your laser box.
there we go, skirting board on. So that's what it looks like. That gets filled down there by the door frame, you can't get them.
Oh, you got no idea. I mean, I don't know the thing.
So there we go, one lovely skirting board. You filled last time, didn't we? We got that. And the tube is empty. Oh. Just a slightly damp finger. I go with the second tube back over that again. But you can see that's how nicely they come in. That comes in. You can work that in so lovely, that stuff. It's so nice. My glamorous assistant will get me one of those acrylic ones out the other tub there.
What?
The box in the back, the acrylic ones, please. It says anti-crack acrylic on it.
Wait, out of this one?
No, in the box, cardboard box. So that's the stuff we change over. So here we go, I'll show you this. Pre-cut all them. And so we're gonna lay them all down. There's my grab fill. So grab fill onto there. With the grab fill, pick that up and push that into place. Gonna run some grab fill up the corner now, where it goes, where the mitre goes in. Some onto the edge of the cupboard here. Because I've run out of glue, so I'm gonna put some across there. This will do exactly the same job. Actually, you can just push it into place like that. Wonder if I should put a fixing into it or not. So I'm going to put one through here. 1, 2, 3 to hold that mitre together. But don't think I'm going to need any there. I'll put one there on top of the stairs. And then what I do is at the far end here, one there, and that'll do. It just needs a bit of stuff across the top. Let's get the crack stuff, because there will be movement in that. So second mastic gun, always have 2 on the go. Go across, filled in, wipe off, come across, I've done so many meters of this, kilometers probably. So that will blend in lovely when that's painted. Give a bit of a wipe off, get rid of all the excess. So it's only sitting in the joints. So there we go. What I'll do is I'll run across the top of the meter cupboard. So there we go. Yeah, so put some on there, rub it like that, get that like that. Yeah, wonderful. And just like that, the hallway is skirting boarded out now. So the entire hallway has skirting boards on it now. There we go. That cupboard has just come together so nicely. Up the internal corner there, oh, I can run some of that up there. So if you look on here, and then paint it, that will look so nice when that's got a nice coat of paint on. And all around there's done, all around here's done, up into the corner, into the door frame there, into here, along here, and that there. So try and get these next pieces on. And we're off. So this is going to be the piece that sits around the bottom here. That's going to sit into there. So what I'm going to do is put these two up to each other. Use the little offcut to make sure they're square. Hold them on like that. Grab myself some tape. Put it on one side, and as I'm putting it on, I'm pulling the opposite way. So I pull that tight. One. Move that down. I'll do the other side. This will be tricky to get this in, because this is going to be the part that's going to sit underneath our fireplace. So I've got both of them in now, so I turn them over. I'll put a bit of wood glue into these. That can ooze out. I'm not bothered about that because I can wipe it off. Wood glue into there. Then what I'm going to do is, to hold it in, it's just going to literally sit in and it's going to have into dollops of the grab adhesive. That's what I've done in mine. 100% it's going to work here. So there's some squirts of grab adhesive underneath there. Then I'll take it, stand it up, pull it along, put my first corner into it, my second one. I need to get that in the right position. So I push this one in here. That's going there. That one goes on to there, to there. Push it under. Push it under. Anything on the floor is just going to wipe off. There comes the compressor on in the background, you can hear it. It's a shame I can't see my miters. Feel along the edge, that feels even. That feels even. Just to hope that that tape is going to hold in place. Where's my cloth? Grab my cloth. I'll leave that a couple of minutes sitting like that. That way I know it's going to get a good bite in there. And then I have a look at it. So that's what it sits like underneath there. At the moment it's covered with the blue tape. I'm going to have to wait till that's set. But there you go, has to stay in as a floating piece. Sitting around there. And we actually haven't pulled the tape off, so if I peel that back there, you'll see that is absolutely lovely. That is such a nice thing. So let's peel that back because it's held it in place while I pushed it there. So I can actually see, I need to push that one in a little bit further. Like that, push it in, hold it. Give that a little push in, yeah, there we go. That looks nice. Happy with that. Come around to the other side. Let's look on the other side. So you can see it just there. Pull around. So you can see the tops open a little bit, so I need to push that in there. Give that a little squeeze. Bring that one back. Push that one against it. Push it against it. Push it. There you go. That's good. And that's good. So that's both sides in. I can now work out my skirting board around the rest of the room there. With them being in. Hey, here comes the outro. So this is today's progress. Skirting boards on inside here. And up around here. All cut in nicely underneath there. Our joint is on this side here. Up around there. Left some expansion around the pipes. And you can see over here. All that is in. That part is in. This part is in. Coming over into the living room. What we've got is down here. So I've got like a little return miter here. Come around here. It's got the lovely joint going into it. Going along. You can see here that's where our scarf joint is. Into the corner. Up. Bent around the side there. That's just sitting there. And I've come over here, set up this one. It's going to get cut off on that point. There, that's going to be the piece that sits inside there. I've set that piece into it. And then coming down here, you can see there on the floor, our lovely piece that sits into it. That's on both sides. That's our leftover skirting board that we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 painted, and 4 still needs doing. And we've got a couple of offcuts sitting across the room. Could be a piece across there, so it's come together. I'm pretty sure we're well on. Don't want to jinx us, but this summer they're going to be in. They're going to have to be in. So I hope you enjoyed it. I finished with showing this here again because I just think that looks so nice. Just look at that socket. It's nicely above it. That part in. And this here is just, it's really hard to tell on the camera, but it looks the part. So there, you can probably see from that angle a bit better. Right here, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment. All the other things as well, like a like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one, probably with some more skirting board and other bits and bobs.